Very much, sir. Thank you very much for your kind words. Hope I am audible for all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Superintendent sir, for your explanation and telling us a real life story. And remember, every case is a lesson for us. Every case. We learn more in the words than in the textbooks. Especially we are living in a different world. I have chosen this topic from past 4 or 5 years to enlighten our younger doctors, younger generation, fresh MDs, to save their skin before you save others. Today, world has changed. So let me go to the first slide. I think just read one sentence. Physician, almost as a rule, is the flower of civilization. That was a great sentence long, long back, 1887. Now things have changed. World has changed now. World has changed. Your expectations are changed. I think we are in the global situation where everything they expect from a doctor. So what are the changes we are seeing today in this world, especially in our country? Problems of today, very important slide. Same, we are all of us are seeing a semi-educated patient. That means you can convince a zero fellow or a 100 fellow, but not a fellow who has got some knowledge. Single patient, multiple consultants. Remember, 1 decade back, one doctor used to see most of the patients, or 2 decades back. Now things have changed. One patient will go to 5 departments. In diabetic clinic, we have got a diabetician, we have got a surgeon, we have got a neurologist, we have got an ophthalmologist, we have got a nephrologist. That explains a disease has got multiple consultants. Google.com really, I think it is not a real boon, it is help you, but it in a different way, it has almost come into the way of our life in day-to-day life. People search Google first, then they come to you. People cross-verify with Google every day. So remember, you are working under CCTV. So I always tell all the doctors in this country are almost under the cover of CCTV. Better be careful than tomorrow to repent. False advertisements. This private hospital in the era of this what is called as a corporate world, the false advertisement, I can cure that, I can cure this, and you remember the small advertisements can cost somebody's life easily. What I want to say is the advertisements are false because I have seen patients admitted for this diagnosis of A, that IFB. All of us remember stroke patients come and admitted in our wards, they die of aspiration pneumonia. Aspiration pneumonia. So I'm telling an example. High expectations from the patient side. This is very, very correct. I can put it in a nutshell in a single sentence. They pay you in rupees, they expect from dollars service. I repeat, they pay you in rupees, they expect service as dollars. They want American line of treatment, of ICU line of treatment in a ward, but they pay you so much. Aggressive journalism. Day is not very far where we are being discussed in day in and day out. Hope we have gone through the COVID pandemic where hospitals are blamed, doctors are blamed, nurses are blamed, hospital position, oxygen, all are as though you are responsible for the country, they are blaming you. Interference on daily basis by non-professionals, another headache, especially if you are working in government service. All people will dictate terms to you. Maybe the commissioner may call you, non-doctors will call you, and not only your professors, your doctors, etc. The interference of the non-doctors are becoming filthy of late, and lack of faith. Faith was the most important point attached to doctor-patient relationship. Now it has gone to thin air. It has almost disappeared. Faith has disappeared. It is almost become a consumerism versus a business, medical business. Whom to blame, we don't know, but this is a problem of the day. What is the problem of the day? Now we are seeing the results. Doctor was hit on the head. Doctor is hospitalized. Then another doctor, before pandemic of COVID, he was hit by a senior resident and he was hospitalized in the same hospital. I am sharing only the two photos actually. It has come in the WhatsApp actually. They're saying that the problems are there. So what is the problem? Where is the problem? And how is the problem? So in a big statement has come from WHO, non-adherence to prescription causes 1.25 lakh deaths in this USA. American people do not adhere to their treatment. That is the news. Remember, if this so much in America, it will be 10 times more in America, in India. Most of the people do not take the correct tablets. Most of the people do not follow your rules and regulation. You hospitalize the patient, they refuse admission. You ask for a blood transfusion, they refuse. But problem is they put blame on you. WHO says more than 50% of the drugs were not correctly prescribed, dispensed, or sold. More than 50% of patients took that indirectly. So what is the problem? Here they don't follow prescriptions. They follow their own. They go to google.com. They go to next door uncle or auntie. They discuss with friends. This is the happening in this country. The main reason why diabetes is not under control, why hypertension is not controlled. This is the meaning. In developed, majority of patients are not treated as per guidelines. So anyway, I don't know how many of us are really following the true guidelines, and they like the COVID guidelines we followed. So not following the guidelines because of number game. Medical errors due to bad prescriptions account to 17%. This is a correct one. So doctors are also held responsible. See, we tell that some black sheep will be there in every field. Doctors are also coming from the community. They are also not the great people. 17%. Prescription error account to 70% of medical errors. Reverse. Writing a bad prescription. See, in pharmacology, we teach our students to learn how to write a good prescription. After MBBS, I don't know how many will follow. After consultation, I'll tell you the bad prescriptions, why it has come up, why it come up. But the problem is everything is highlighted by the bad prescription everywhere. There's a significant increase in cost of healthcare system due to prescription errors. That's why in government setup, a lot of outside prescriptions have been banned, some restriction for your prescription, a lot of things have come because the fancy prescriptions of the doctors have increased the cost of treatment. More than that, it has got a lot of medical errors also. Hence, problems are plenty. I think I'll show next another 1 or 2 minutes, few prescriptions, why it has become a news right now. Just to see, what is a guarantee certificate? See, what is this prescription? Can anybody read this prescription? What is this prescription? So next, what is this prescription? I'm just telling the few prescriptions here. Here, political science. So the prescription errors are plenty. Prescription errors are plenty. The survey says, see, because of these, if you write a good prescription, remember you can go to bed easily and you get a good night's sleep. A bad prescription will cost you, as somebody says, today I've seen some difficult patients, I'm not getting sleep. 50% of doctors are dying of cardiovascular diseases. The normal life expectancy is less for doctors because of the stress you take. The probably the stress has caused a lot of things. Bad prescription is one where it induces stress. Sir, I am audible, sir? Sir, am I
Yes, sir.
audible?
Audible.
Yeah.
Audible.
So the message is very clear. All of us should have a very good prescription because bad prescription costs patient life more than patient. It is our own stress and our own headache. Why I am chosen this topic and discussion for today is, remember, we are controlled by all people, patient relatives, patient friends, community, newspaper people, media, politicians, higher authorities, officers, including courts. Remember, you are answerable to everybody, unfortunately. Why I am taken this topic is to highlight some of the prescription problems in the court of law. Court of law expect you something more than what you are doing right now. Unfortunately, we don't teach much during our MBBS days. That's why I told our director here to say one class, when PGs come to the college, one class, first class will be mine. So 45 minutes to 1 hour, they have to sit, listen, then they should do the ward. First, no prescription should ordinarily be done without actual examination. That rules out your telephone consultation, that rules your patient has come proxy, therefore take this drug, etc. Almost no examination, no prescription. Dictum. If you don't see the patient, then you are no one. Okay. Do not copy any other doctor's prescription in your handwriting on the page. I request for any reason. We have nothing to defend allegations. Okay. Say, for example, I'll tell you honestly, a cardiologist referred a patient with Penidur injection for rheumatic fever prophylaxis. Patient has come, wanted a penitive prescription. We gave a penitive prescription because cardiologist has told you, and patient went, collapsed and died. Who is responsible now? Cardiologist sitting somewhere in the room, he gives a prescription. I mean, he tells orally, you are handwriting costed. So don't follow others. You are individual doctor, you have to give your prescription. If you cannot defend your prescription, don't give a prescription. Prescribing in casual manner without referring to a relevant medical record, okay? Patient conscious negligence. This I quote order. What I want to tell you is, don't be casual anytime and anytime for that matter. We have seen doctors writing prescription on the car, fasting 300, postponed 400, small paper, bus ticket behind you write. Small papers, advised human mixture 30. So don't write prescription. Don't bring down medical prescription writing to a small level. Let him come, let him pay, let him have a proper consultation. Or in a government setup, let him stand in a queue, take the prescription. Whatever you give free doesn't have any value. So let him come, okay? Nothing is, you want some Tahsildar office, DC office, anything you get free of cost? I mean, anything easily done? Nothing done. You have to wait for days together to get a small certificate, anything. So casual prescription, please avoid. Prescription must at least record patient's history, complaints, symptoms. I'll tell you this. So few details are required. Then don't write. Say, for example, Ramesh, 33 years, enteric fever, ciprofloxacin. So please write some details. Spend 1 or 2 minutes extra in writing a prescription. Because tomorrow, if prescription goes to court, only thing is how defined. Why enteric fever? Court will ask you, what are the complaints when he came? What time of the day he came? How many days of fever? So nothing is written. So when you cannot defend, please don't write. Don't encourage, okay? Let him write to come to the OPD, let him sit in the OPD, let him give history, let him get examined, etc. So hurry, nothing to be done. Excessive prescription or prescribing many drugs without jurisdiction in justification is negligence. Don't write. If you write more, then there is a doubt. If you write less, there is a doubt. So I repeat the sentence. Don't write more than 5 or 6 drugs in a single prescription. Don't write a single drug for a prescription. So there is a meaning. Optimum of 3-4 drugs is quite comfortable. If you write more than 7 drugs, there should be something more. Okay, so check your prescription. Prescribing a host of antibiotic and other drugs in a presumable basis. Okay, that means you are not zeroed on a diagnosis. Most of our doctors will not write any working diagnosis at all. Let us say somebody comes fever comes, let us say 5 days of fever. You should write fever of 5 days origin. No other history suggests you towards fever. No history of sore throat, no history of burning micturition, no history of cough, no history of breathlessness. 2 lines. Any existing illness you have to write 2 lines. But if you say only query enteric fever, ciprofloxacin, if something goes wrong with the drug, etc., then you will be held. Because they say you don't have a diagnosis for fever and you are treating. Fever for 5 days, advice Dolo 650 for 5 days, review after investigation may be the correct answer than writing something which is. You cannot write a drug without a diagnosis for that. Patient's failure to follow medical advice or to report to follow up. Okay, so do they record it? Let us say you advise a patient to come after 1 month. He comes after 6 months. Your prescription you should write. Patient was poor follow-up, never came for follow-up at the end of 1 month. He is coming after a gap of 3 months. Very important. Now he becomes a fresh patient, not a follow-up patient. It is our duty to say. Remember, every word or a sentence you write in the prescription will save you on the day, will save you from all harassment. Prescription must at least record patient's history, come again, same parameters, and a clinical diagnosis. Okay, we got Washington's manual of series, etc., where pages will tell a working diagnosis is a must in all your prescriptions, even in the OPD script, small. Okay, excessive prescription of okay. So these are the few court orders where prescription is the main. Patients went to the court because of wrong prescription. Some problem occurred because of prescription. We should not give a room. As SAR has told, Superintendent SAR has told, prescription is a very important medico-legal document. You will see, if you do a mistake today, it appears after 5 years or 4 years in the court of law. You would have forgotten the patient. if patient would have forgotten the doctor. What remains safe is the prescription. A prescription is defined as an order written by you, that is a doctor, to tell the pharmacist what medication you want to prescribe. That means what are the drugs a pharmacist should give to the patient is called as prescription. Earlier, it was only a small drug prescription. Now they expect much more. Prescription writing is a big issue. Who should give the prescription? Only 3 people in this world can write: an allopathic doctor, a dentist, and veterinary doctor. These are the 3 people. I don't know. Other things might have been added. Standard practice is a doctor, a dentist can give, and a veterinary doctor can give a prescription. In America, no prescription, no drugs. Here, counter medications are selling more than any other prescriptions. What is a prescription? What are the items of prescription? Superintendents are already introduced some important issues, but I'll go methodically. Another 15 to 30, 20 minutes. I'll tell you what is the prescription, how to write a prescription to save from others. Preferably, the prescription's information, a letterhead. Choose a letterhead. If you don't have, please make one letterhead actually. Your hospital name or your name. In the prescription name, hospital is not accountable. You sit in the hospital, Oxford or Cambridge, that is different. But your name is very important. Dr. Ravindra's name should come on the top. What is your degree? Prescriber's name. What are the degrees you have got? Specialized. Designation. Let us say MD internal medicine. Specialized in diabetic care, for example. What degree of in diabetes? Any degree you have done? Internal medicine, okay. Designation. Branch of specialty. Office address. Where you should be available. Where you should be available. Office address. Contact information. Write your mobile number. You cannot escape. Mobile number. Not your hospital number. Emergency. Always print one line where in emergency, please contact this hospital on this number. You are safe. This is lawyers. Lawyers also come to my lecture sometimes. They tell you this is a very beautiful one. So write an emergency number. So that is blame is on the patient. Headache to the patient now. You have to contact that number for emergency. Okay. So emergency number you give, you need not give your personal number. Okay. So any emergency, don't contact me, but contact the emergency room of this hospital. Patient's information. So here patient details are required. Who is he? How is he? What is he? Etc. So name, age, date of birth if possible, date of prescribing the drug, patient telephone number if possible. And please, time of consultation. It's a vital document. Timing is very important. Morning 8:30 a.m. today's date. Evening 11:30 a.m. Suppose you see a patient at home. Don't encourage seeing patients at home. If you see a patient at home, write home visit, time, date. Elements of prescription. Step 3 is very important, where clinic detail. Here the court will say why patient has come to your clinic or hospital at that time. Why patient has come to clinic to this hospital. Record important symptom, very important. You see, unfortunately, we don't write. We write a diagnosis and them. Why? Separate history of allergies, any separate box you can write. Alcohol. For example, I'll tell you one line. So, Mr. Okay, ABCD, 65 years. He has come with breathlessness, fever of 3 days duration. Very important. Known history you should write. Known diabetic for past 5 years on treatment and 4 follow-up. Known case of hypertension for past 1 year on treatment, etc. Any history of allergy, patient is allergic to penicillin, please mention in a block or a block letters. See, please write this patient's habit, for example. Patient is a chronic alcoholic, takes alcohol practically every day, including today he has taken alcohol. That means the case becomes weakened. The responsibility of you will come down significantly. And record relevant clinical findings. So write 2-3 lines history and some vitals you have to calculate. Okay, vital data, pulse, blood pressure, respiratory rate, SpO2, all you should be the must actually. And some CVS, RS, abdomen. Pertaining to that, you have to examine the patient. Relevant examination. And ask for an emergency investigation. For example, RBSA, random blood sugar, ECG, for example, you have to do all these maneuvers at the time of inmate required, or ask for it, at least ask for it. Say, for example, fever of 5 days, you have to ask for relevant investigation. So, fever profile. What are the fevers common in Bangalore or Madras today? Say, for example, COVID is common, viral fever is common, dengue is common, chikungunya common, malaria is everywhere, enteric fever is common. So, ask for relevant investigation right now. Always, end of the day, working diagnosis has to be written and you have to plan your action based upon the working diagnosis. What are the recipe? This is a simple, okay. So we have to give some important information for the patient, some instruction how to use, for example. So when you write a tablet, for example, you should tell the information. Shake well before use, for example, antacid. So instructions told orally you can write. Tapering of a drug, see, SAR has told sudden tapering of a drug can produce that adrenal axis problem, and patient died on that day. There is a beautiful explanation where you cannot taper. Tapering of a drug is a must in steroids, where you have advised and written. For example, most of the young doctors may not read this sentence: stop smoking, stop alcohol. In alcoholic liver disease example, first treatment is stop alcohol. Chronic bronchitis, first stop smoking. Court, they say they have objected this. Doctor, you never explain to them what is stopping of smoking, stopping of alcohol, etc. That means what are the risk factors, etc. I should identify and immediately instruct based upon this. So next, dispensing. These are direct pharmacist prescription. What pharmacist should follow for this patient on this prescription. So acute illness, you can give antibiotics, say for example, 5 to 7 days. So pneumonia, amoxicillin capsule, 500 milligrams, 1 TAD for 5 days, 15 capsules. Okay, that should be the prescription. Chronic illness for diabetes, hypertension, etc. Please skip 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. Review SOS, you're right. To prevent drug interactions and medical errors, one should be careful in writing multiple drug prescriptions. So when you're writing more drugs, incompatibility of a drug or the cross reactions can occur. Therefore, you should be doubly careful in doing the work. When you're writing more drugs, bit more careful. So an ideal prescription should be writing 3-4 drugs, writing for a specific time of, and giving some instructions for the patient how to use and ask him when to come back. Next, prescriber should specify how many times you would like to, okay, take. Say for example, what is the exact doses? For example, tablet amlodipine 5 milligrams OD once daily, morning 9 AM, etc. 10 milligrams OD. So somebody should not misuse the prescription. Somebody already, as sir said, Visolan prescription is misused. And also H drugs are special scheduled drugs, you should write only 5 days. Tomorrow, for a stress individual, you write anxiety neurosis diagnosis, tablet Anxit 0.5 milligrams, night time at hour of sleep, 5. You write one F5VE 5 only. So you should not write. If you write 5, maybe plus 0, it becomes 50. You may consume all 50 tablets at a time. So you see, some court will say you are not specified the correct instruction for the patient who is a layman who doesn't know ABCD. So worth writing date of next follow-up, please write next review after 1 month, review after 15 days is always a last sentence in the prescription. So please say signature is very important and put a seal if possible. So that means you are taking the responsibility for all the things written in the prescription. Tomorrow you should identify your prescription and tell that I have written this prescription. It was my prescription. So MCI has come with a new format of new prescription rules. Not much actually, because some of the consultant prescriptions are far better than this actually. Anyway, this is for a basic prescription format from MCI. Somebody can copy this. It's very simple, but most of the professors, most of the consultants have got a better prescription. Why do you want to learn prescription writing? Remember, prescription writing is a part of your life, duty-bound program as I call. This is a very important issue throughout your life. As long as you remain as a doctor, prescription writing is a must. This is to encourage rational use of drugs. You cannot be misused or abused. You should use correctly the correct dose. So, in a simple sentence, to understanding the medications, mechanism, etc., the patient should get the right medicine in right duration and a right dose. So, right medicine, right drug, right dose. Okay. That's why the guidelines come to the picture. That's why we are in the textbooks. That's why we are practicing. So some should not be misused. What are the factors underlying the irrational use? So irrational use is a common thing in prescription patterns. What are the factors? Patients' drug misinformation. Okay. Patients have got their own patients have got their own misinformation regarding the drugs. They may swallow, they may not correctly take the tablets. Misleading beliefs. Okay, you doctor can believe that this drugs works here, that drug, instead of thinking scientifically, the belief comes to the picture. I believe this drug, I believe this brand, something like that. Then patient demands and expectations. Here, patient will ask you to write double antibiotic. Patient will ask you to write that drug. So it is not patient's choice, to tell you frankly. So old patients, that is a chronic patient, they dictate terms for you because they expect more from you. They want you to write a drug of their choice. That prescription is entirely belongs to the doctor, entirely scientific, entirely evidence-based medicine. Hence, I strongly feel you should not yield to the pressure of a patient. For example, he will tell you, I want Lasix, sir. I want Lasix tablet. Before you write, you have to think 100 times, and you are answerable if you write a tablet of Lasix. Why Lasix? How Lasix? What is the dose? How many days? What is your diagnosis for Lasix? Okay. Prescribers lack education and training. See, young prescribers, they have not gone through these classes of prescription, etc., except a small, brief exposure at pharmacology level. So earlier days, housemanship is a very important period. Intern used to learn sitting with professors and assistant professors and learn prescription. Now they are very busy reading for NEET examination. So hence, post MBBS also is they are not getting good prescription. Inappropriate role models. We call this medical technology role models. Somebody can make a drug as a brand. So there are some people who become brands, brand leaders, and unfortunately the whole area follows, the whole city follows. Just because Dr. A, consultant A writes this prescription, you need not write that prescription. Okay. So the take-home message is you are answerable for your prescription. Lack of objective drug information. You don't have information. Let us say you want to write a vildagliptin tablet for a diabetic patient. You don't have information. It is your duty to learn or update yourself in the subject. Then only you can write. Drug supply, unreliable supply system, drug shortages. So very important is availability in government setup. Okay, some things are available, most of the things are not available. Then who should be blamed? Enteric fever patient, you write amoxicillin is the only antibiotic available. Then you need not believe anybody, including government setup, etc. If enteric fever is your diagnosis, the drug should act if it is an anti-enteric fever drug. Ciprofloxacin, if it is a drug of choice, please write ciprofloxacin as a drug because that saves. Though it is not available in government setup, that means you are not responsible. Your treatment should answer the main question of enteric fever. Expired drug supplied. So I don't know the concept of expiry of a drug. I don't know chemical expires, etc. Anyway, expired drug should not be used at any cost. Okay, because that is a medical legal issue. That becomes a big issue actually. Drug regulation, non-essential drugs availability. So somebody should regulate the supply of drugs, quality of drugs, etc. Again, that is not under your purview, but see that the correct supply of a drug at a setup, at an hospital, especially essential drugs should be given at every time for all patients. Non-formal prescribers, please always write a prescription on a prescription pad or a letter. Don't write here and there. So we should not bring down the prescription writing levels. Lack of regular enforcement, of course, that is always there. Nobody is cross-checking. In abroad, especially in Dubai and UK, etc. Let us say I see patient on 1,000 patients per month. There is a prescription audit team will come to the hospital where they audit your prescriptions. They pick up patient number 39, 430, 769, 973. The 4 prescriptions will be taken. They will go through the prescription auditing, and this is a must, and you have to upgrade yourself. If you are very wrong, you may be posted to a training program. If you are very good, you will be complimented. Okay, something like that. Okay, that is not there in our country right now. Last one is industry, promotional activities, incentives by pharmaceuticals. So that means lured by pharma companies, etc., to write drug A, drug B, drug C at the cost of XYZ. So this has to be kept in mind before you write a drug. So the only thing is whether this drug to be given for this patient at this particular point of time is there or not. Say for example, today we are getting a new drug, dapagliflozin, come as a drug, dapagliflozin, SGLT2 inhibitor. Whether this drug requires when they use. That's why know the indication of a drug. If you want to use it, the indication is there, please use it. If it is contraindicated, don't use it. If Say a simple drug. Let us say a 2 rupee tablet can work. Then there is no point in writing a 20 rupees tablet. That's a simple sentence as far as the patient is concerned. Misleading claims. You higher use of injection due to false assumption that it improves patient satisfaction and self-medication. So these are the problems in almost all the hospital, etc. Patient self-medicate. Patient wants some injection. See, patient want diclofenac injection for fever when he can take oral tablets. So doctor should decide whether he requires an injection or not. Don't again go to the faith or claim of a patient and do a lot of wrong things have appeared because of this, listening to the patient too much. Next, generalization of limited experiences, misleading beliefs, workplace heavy patient load, pressure to prescribe, lack of adequate lab facilities. So these are all the additional factors our doctors are facing to write a prescription. Say, for example, you don't know the blood sugar value, you don't know how to titrate insulin dosage because patient is not getting his reports. You don't know the culture report, how to add a new drug, how to change the new drug antibiotic. So that means there is some limitation for all of us to write a prescription. Anyway, let us say somebody comes with urinary tract infection. Let us say my drug of choice is norfloxacin, 400 milligrams, 1 BD, you write for 3 days, nothing wrong. You please mention advise urine for culture sensitivity, review after 3 days. That is your answer. So no court, nothing, nobody will come to your problem. So I mean, what I want to say is nobody can object you with this prescription. Let us say you choose a drug for 7 days, you never ask for a culture, patient becomes bad, he goes to a sepsis. Then they will ask you one question: why the total count was not done, why WHO blood sugars were not done, why urine culture was not sent. So you have to answer all these questions to a non-doctor, to a lawyer who can ask you all the questions on earth. Remember, today's lawyers are well educated. They come with google.com. Their medical knowledge is also good. Don't underestimate today's lawyer. So far, I told you some of the problems we face in the court of law. Also, I write how exactly we should write a prescription so that mainly to escape from the clutches of court and the patient angle. Now, what is the WHO definition for this rational use of a drug? Here, medications appropriate to their clinical needs, very important. That is why I always tell our postgraduates to address the present problem. Somebody comes with fever, let us say patient also diabetic, you did diabetic, don't forget fever. Remember, the presenting complaints always dictate terms for the diagnosis and treatment. Patient has come with fever, please treat fever correctly. Please work up for fever immediately. Though patient may be diabetic, may be hypertensive, that has become secondary now. Maybe diabetes causing fever, that is a different issue, secondary infection. But patient language is fever. Adequate time, adequate dose, and adequate lower cost is a line. So what is the rational use? WHO, don't misuse and abuse drugs. You prescribe a common group of drugs which addresses his clinical need of a patient with at that time availability. It should be efficacy. Efficacy is very important and at a relatively lower cost. So the process of rational prescribing for define patient problem, define the therapeutic objective, some pre-treatment assess suitability, you start treatment done, give history monitoring, and lastly the follow-up has to be done. Just I'll run through some of the important slides here to know the what is what. So define the complaints. So please write in your prescription what are the complaints. If there is no diagnosis, if there is no treatment exactly, symptomatic treatment may be advised. What do you mean by that? Fever of 5 days or 6 days. Advise following tests, including COVID test. Advise Doro 650, 1 TID for 5 days. Review after investigation. That should be a proper prescription because the pathophysiology is set in right now. It takes some time to happen for a diagnosis. We cannot make a diagnosis on day 1 or day 2, sometimes even day 10. We know PUO is always there where you cannot make a diagnosis at all. So hence, I always request symptomatic treatment to start with, and later we can always give the proper treatment at an appropriate stage after making a diagnosis. So thoroughly we have to tell all the postgraduates history, examination, investigation at arriving at a diagnosis. Some of the PGs are high-tech people. First they see MRI scan, then take the history. That is wrong according to court also, according to common sense. So proper history, proper examination is a must, and proper investigations. So what do you want to achieve with the treatment? Will prevent a lot of unnecessary drug use. See here, you have to ask few questions, therapeutic questions. So treating two diseases at same time, if you cannot distinguish between them. Say for example, some fever with chills and rigors has come to the hospital. We cannot make a diagnosis. On antibiotic safer side you have started. Whether you can start anti-malarial, your wisdom, okay? That's why in the differential diagnosis, you have to write 1, 2, 3. Malaria is also a differential diagnosis. Patient coming from a malaria belt, nothing wrong in giving a anti-malarial, okay, empirical line of treatment. So even a corticosteroid ointment you want to give for a skin if it is necessary. One thing you have to answer, a doctor should defend his diagnosis, should defend the prescription you are given. Please spend 2-3 minutes with the patient and discuss the treatment. So you should not be in a hurry, but it is not one-to-one. Patient relatives, patient wife, husband has to be called in and to be discussed. So this is the problem he is having. I am giving this kind of treatment, etc. Sometimes when you are really sick or medical legal, take a signature of the patient on the OPD or inpatient slip also. Patient was explained all details, okay. So that means future litigations will come down. It also makes the patient an informed partner. See, in America today, they make patient as a central part of line of treatment. He becomes a partner in the treatment. So patient and relatives, ultimately they go to court. Ultimately you have to satisfy them. Hence, make them a part of it. So discuss with the patient and attender seriously and write a prescription. Okay. But of your choice, not their choice. Prescription should be ours. So free drugs are personal drugs. Some people, okay, give direct prescription, these personal drugs. They remember few drugs, they write the 4 drugs. Okay, very simple. No consultation has come down to few drugs, few diagnosis. Okay, very simple. Let's say diabetes consultation, you have got around 6 to 7 day drugs. You have got one insulin, basal insulin. So almost your treatment has come down now. Not like earlier years where you have to remember. Compared to some special fields where they have got few diagnoses. I remember one of my consultant used to tell, sir, I've got 4 symptoms, 4 signs, 4 investigations, 4 drugs, etc. So it has come down to a narrow level. That's often use a similar and peculiar and familiar drugs, P drugs. So in fact, you have to open up yourself and remember one thing, whether you are correct in writing that drug for that patient ultimately. And ultimately, patient should be beneficial, not the doctor. So obvious benefit goes to the patient, including free of side effects. So is it effective drug? First few questions, is it safe? Is it cheap? So I think 3 questions you have to ask before writing a prescription. I am writing a drug, so which should answer all these questions. Active substance, anyway, these are small pharmacological active substance and dosage form, standard dosage, a standard duration of treatment. Please mention the drug capsule, amoxicillin, 500 milligrams, 1 TID after food for 5 days, 15 capsules. That is the must, that completes your treatment. So half-hearted, etc., they should not misuse this drug, and also they should not be cross. Somebody else, you write viral fever, you write, that should not go to other fever. Each prescription is meant for each patient, okay, not for others. The mechanism of contraindications are determined by mechanism and the cat individual. So 2 important. One, the disease process itself and the individual patient, you have to take care. So the high risk groups are always there where you have to be doubly careful in writing a prescription. So always ask one question end of the day. So many will not tell you. End of the day, you ask the menstrual history and see confirm pregnancy, confirm lactation, pediatric children, see adult. Okay, I cannot give a prescription for a fellow who is less than 18 years according to court of law. Emergency, somebody comes to your clinic on that date, you write single emergency drug and send him to a pediatrician. Same thing goes to the pediatrician. Somebody elderly people go to pediatrician. You should say an emergency life saving, yes, right. Otherwise, refer to clinical internal medicine. So renal failure, hepatic failure, history of drug allergy, other diseases. So these are all the high risk groups where prescription has to be thought of in a serious way. Not easy, not a routine prescription for these people. The therapeutic window, you have to see the resistant and hypersensitivity. This is a more a pharmacological paper. And I think I'll run through these slides, mainly the absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion of a drug. One should know, at least in grass. So the plasma concentration, I think this is a very pharmacological point of view. I'll go through. Okay, start treatment and okay, patient adherence. So prescribe a well-chosen drug treatment. So what the court says is, please take the detailed history of the patient, including his finances. Say, for example, a diabetic fellow, new patient, a vildagliptin costs around 10 rupees. Glucoparade costs around 2 to 4 rupees. Metformin is a drug. So follow the guidelines. Cheaper drug for that. If somebody comes with 500 as a blood sugar, so there is no chance for your drugs. Patient requires admission, patient requires insulin. So there is a line of treatment immediately. Ultimately, you should maintain a good doctor-patient relationship. That is the one which dictated. A good prescription makes a nice doctor-patient relationship. A bad, okay, poor litigation. A bad prescription will cause all the problems. Take time to give necessary information, instruction, and warnings to the patient. So court also has mentioned once, it is a primary responsibility of the doctor to ensure the treatment is understood with the patient. So my request for all the young doctors, after writing a prescription, let them buy the tablets and show it to you. Choose, correct, okay? There is even a small spelling mistake can tell. A handwritten prescription is always good, but nowadays a computerized, a printed prescription has come, and you should sign and put a seal for that, and you should own the responsibility for all these things. Hence, I strongly feel, okay, when you send a message across, you can write. Bad handwriting is causing a lot of problems for doctors. Handwriting is very poor among doctors, especially after the advent of your mobile, WhatsApp, and chats, mobiles, etc. Hence, capital, write the tablet in capitals. Ciprofloxacin, write in capitals. That should not be confused. Okay. That means when you say a capital writing, or when you can give a computerized prescription, tomorrow you got a better say in the court of law. So court of law will accept you and encourage you. Doctor has given extraordinary, okay, what is one? Prescription with greater care, greater interest. That means you care the patient. Okay, a dosage, a daily dose, a frequency of administration. For example, twice daily, 200 milligrams will be given in the same meal plan. So right before food, after food, with food. And always time it right down. Timings 9 a.m. Okay, 6-hourly drug, 8-hourly drug. You mentioned the time of the day, etc. So that is very important as far as the drug is prescribed, because a lot of misuse of drug. Most important is this diabetic and hypertensive drugs. They buy more from the government setup and they swallow. They give to others, friends, and the prescriptions gets multiplied easily across the counter. So future consultation. This is also part of our team work. When to come back is a very important one. Say, for example, viral fever, come back after investigation. UTI, come back after culture sensitivity report. For example, any case, for example, come back anytime with fresh complaints or worsening of a disease, or review after 1 month or 2 months, etc. See, most of the drug diseases do require a follow-up. No follow-up. If you don't tell follow-up, that means you are wrong, because nothing is definite here. Somebody has to come for follow-up. So last sentence, everything, I mean, in this slide, everything is clear. So please ask one question. When patient is going out of your clinic or hospital, ask one question. Okay, are you satisfied? Second, any question left behind? You want to tell me something? Please tell. So please open a question for the patient relative and ask one question, whether you want to complain, whether you want to say anything. They may be hiding actually. So a lot of stories are there where one patient was exposed to AC inhibitor on treatment and causing cough. She had come 3-4 times to my own clinic. Earlier 2-3 times she was done a chest X-ray, ECG, echo, CT scan, sputum examination. All were turned to be negative, and ultimately one fine day, from her vanity bag, one strip of tablet fell down. It was, I think it was lisinopril or some AC inhibitor. I asked you, sir, this is taken for past 5 years. Why? Because of hypertension. She never told she is hypertensive, because blood pressure was always under control. And ultimately, the doctor has told 5 years back, take this tablet every day, one as a B complex tablet. Repeat, as a B complex tablet. He thinks it's B complex. He's taking lisinopril from past 5 years. So immediately we switched to some other tablet, cough disappeared. So she has to undergo lot of investigation, including CT chest. So instructions, main instructions are why the drug is needed. So you have to answer which symptoms will disappear, how to follow, next side effect, which side effect, how to recognize side effect. So side effect is a very important one. Lot of people are asking this question, whether I can take this tablet for side effect. Side effect is a drug, okay, it is undesirable effect. It is always there for every drug. When you take a tablet, some degree of effect will be there. If some drug doesn't have any effect, there is no side effect. Remember, side effect itself is an effect. So, hence I strongly feel side effects, because known side effects of a other adverse reaction has to be noted. Please write amlodipine prescription when you give, Pidolidema is expected. AC inhibitors you give, cough is expected. So, hence please tell the patient before giving the drug. They should understand. Warning. So some warning has to be given a prescription. For example, epilepsy patient on treatment. So don't drive, don't work in machinery, don't go to the top of the building, etc. So drugs, okay, all the sedatives, etc. you give, don't exceed this drug. Come back, review SOS. So antibiotic, don't exceed 7 days or 5 days, etc. So don't stop at the end of 1 day also. Take minimum 5 days, maximum 7 days. So these are the warnings you have to give before tending the patient. So slow reduction doses. So somebody said corticosteroids is here. Faisal, the story is told by our superintendent is excellent. So these are the following drugs in the slides: anti-epileptics, antidepressant, antipsychotics, corticosteroids, hypnotics, opiates are. So suddenly should not stop. If you have started slowly, you should withdraw from the consultant angle of you. Slow increase. There are few tablets where you have to increase slowly, dip by dip. Okay, you cannot immediately give a maximum dose in the beginning. Slow increase, including your AC inhibitors, as I told you, and opiates in cancer, painkillers, and antidepressants. Monitor was a very important one. So checklist, okay. So when somebody has some problem, immediately stop the drug. Somebody you get a telephone consultation. I want to speak about telephone consultation. I think I was doing telephone consultation during the COVID time, etc. The problem is you are answerable to court. Something goes wrong only, they come to the picture. Say you tell something. Let us say you tell insulin 10 units. They take to 20 units because they know the GRBS at home is high. They go to hypoglycemia. Something may go wrong. Hence, avoid telephone prescription. Telephone consultation. Avoid proxy prescriptions. Let them come to the hospital except elderly, severely disabled people, where you can tell, you can do a WhatsApp call, discuss, write it. I have discussed with the patient, WhatsApp call has been done, etc. Okay, so if side effects are there, please stop the treatment. If yes, but not yet completed, okay, then you ask for that treatment to be can be continued, reconsider after the use of a drug. If no, disease not cured, then why disease is not cured? They will blame you tomorrow. For example, so very simple, unresolved pneumonia. Who is responsible for unresolved pneumonia? So both patient, doctor, and the system, all three are responsible. For example, what are the causes of unresolved pneumonia? One, unrelated obstruction, presence of a complication. There is already a lung abscess, wrong diagnosis. If tubercular pneumonia, you are treating with ciprofloxacin or you are sitting with amoxicillin or augmentin. So patient is not taking drugs correctly. In hospital, sister is not giving the injection 8 hourly. She is giving one dose OD antibiotic. So all are uncontrolled blood sugars. So all these features are responsible for your unresolved pneumonia. So you are not done the culture sensitivity report. Organism sensitive to drug A, but unfortunately you are giving drug B. So yes, that should not be an issue. Please document. Please document. So I think I want to give a very few points. So after giving through lecture, do not prescribe without seeing a patient. All youngsters, please remember, don't be over enthusiastic. Tomorrow, nobody will come to your rescue. Do not prescribe a secret remedial agent. That means some drug is on study. Don't describe the drug which is not available in medicine, except if it is not followed to the guidelines. Do not prescribe a drug that is banned. Some gatiproxolone has been banned, for example. So fenformin has been banned. Don't grieve, because tomorrow you cannot defend a banned drug. Do not prescribe a drug if you can't justify. That's correct. Do not prescribe multiple drugs, multiple antibiotics. Tomorrow, how do you say? That means you polypharmacy you are educating. That means you don't have a diagnosis, therefore you are trying. Do not prescribe a drug which is too large dose for long time. So whatever the doubtful drugs has to be given for a short time, not for long time. Question yourself. Do not under prescribe a drug. Say for example, hypertension. So after 5 days review, so drugs itself takes some time to act. So you have to give and a trial as at least 1 month has to be given. Don't prescribe outside your pathy, skill or specialty. Say for example, you are an allopathic doctor, you cannot write an Ayurvedic doctor. Same thing holds to Ayurvedic doctor, you cannot write an allopathic. Some other medicine of drug you should not prescribe. Second, skill, you are ophthalmologist, you cannot write an ENT drug. ENT is not your cup of tea. See, cardiologist cannot look into the nephrology problem, look into other specialties. So you got some boundaries. You cannot go. Emergency, you can see. Refer to the respective consultant for the respective drug. Okay. Always mention the time and date of consultation is very important. Lot of legal things have happened. I mentioned possible side effects of the prescribed drug. Example, amlodipine can produce pedal edema. Please mention. Pedal edema, please consult me. Okay, expected side effect. Hospital name and emergency number is important. Advise specific investigations. Always write investigation. If somebody is diabetic, not doing blood sugars is a crime. If somebody has got a chest pain, you don't have an ECG. ECG is not done. At least not asked. Somebody with fever and chills, you never ask for blood for malaria parasite, which is endemic in this country. So asking for investigation is a rule, is a thumb rule, and it is duty-bound program. Preferably write generic names. Now government is also stating trade names. Okay, write the generic name. In bracket, you can write a trade name also. Generic name is an important prescription. Okay, ciprofloxacin 500 milligrams. In bracket, you can write Ciplox. Prescribe with a caution in elderly. So special categories I don't. Please prescribe. Doubly sure that you are writing a prescription for a special category of people. Your prescription should be legible. I told you already, capital letters are a must, or a print is always better. So I think I showed some prescription where nobody knows. Maybe the pharmacist knows. So that gives a lot of doubt for the patient. Explain the prescription once to the patient and attendant. End of the day, when you're writing a prescription, please call the patient and attendant and explain your prescription. That is very, very important with signature and seal. If possible, let the patient also sign. That means you are completely safe. Avoid units of teaspoons or tablespoons, mention ml. Tell them correctly what they should take. Always specify 7 a.m. See, instead of 3 TAD, I think 7 a.m., 3 p.m., 11 p.m. is better than TAD. Okay. So to conclude, I think I'm concluding this thing. A precise and a completed prescription is a need of the hour. So always people may not look at your face, they see the prescription. Your prescription goes beyond your limits. It goes to doctors, hospitals, the other doctors, patient circle, legal circle, etc. It is the most important document a court wants. Okay. So write a prescription. As prescription is always a legal document, it should be prepared nicely, not in a hurried way. I read prescription is your power, your knowledge, it's a culture and duty-bound program. So writing a nice prescription is your duty-bound program. You cannot escape. With so many medical legal cases, I think cropping up day by day, saving one's own skin is very important than to save others. Before you save patient, you save yourself. All my doctor community, all doctors should be saved because of this. So many medical legal issues. Hence, a strong and a beautiful prescription, a nice prescription, a scientific prescription will help you to save your skin before you save others, whatever it is. Tomorrow you can stand easily in the court of law. So that's about a prescription in general I have spoken. And I'm touching only the prescription aspect and legal aspects. Prescription not in the scientific, more in the legal aspects. Please write a very nice prescription and save. Remember one thing, write a nice prescription, go to bed. Because we have experienced when you write a prescription in a hurried way, we have got a lot of headaches. Recently, one person is complaining in Bangalore. Sir, when I went for fever for 3 days, doctor has not mentioned COVID test. Ultimately, the patient developed COVID after 7 days. So day one, they want COVID test. So you have to explain these people. Day one, you cannot make a diagnosis of COVID. It requires some days, COVID test too, you cannot be positive in a day one. So, Jens, I strongly feel writing is yours. Please write a prescription and save your skin. So, any questions? I'll take up a lot of problems, lot of examples are there. Not a time to discuss all these things. Any questions? I'll answer you regarding the prescriptions.